it's a while, going further. Loneliness of a long distance runner. Shadow come closer, so while going further. Loneliness of a long distance runner. Shadow come closer, so while going further. Loneliness of a long distance runner. Shadow come closer, so while going further. Loneliness of a long distance runner. Shadow come closer, so while going further. Loneliness of a long distance runner. Shadow come closer, so while going further. Loneliness of a long distance runner. Shadow come closer, so while going further. Loneliness of a long distance runner. Shadow come closer, so while going further. If I fall down, then I know to keep on running. If I fall down, then I know to keep on running. When I fall down, then I know to keep on running. If I fall down, then I know to keep on running.
Yo, 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 what is up, everyone? Happy Friday. Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone is doing very, very well. Without any further ado, let's get my fat head on the screen and see how we're looking today. Bullish, bullish, bullish is the story of the day, boys. Bitcoin absolutely on a tear. We're going to break it down and maybe talk through what the fuck is actually happening and see if we can make sense of this crazy price action. We are, of course, live on my X, on Kraken Pro X, on YouTube, and on my Twitch. GMGM, we have Marquise in the chat. Dom, what's up, my man? What's up, Arjun? GMGM. Film Ninja, X with better UI on the streams. Oh, interesting. That's good to hear. What's up, Lutz? Good to see you, bro. Yes. We are live. Live on Kraken Pro X as well. GM chat. What is up? Promo trading in the chat. Love to see it. I never know who's running that account. It's gotten away from me somewhere in the preceding years. What's up, Sis? Good to see ya. Nico, mi hermano. ¿Cómo está? How you doing? What's up, DK, my man? What's up, DJN? What's up, FN? The bottom is in. Was a great question. It's a great question. We'll shed some light on that this stream. Give you my thoughts. The TLDR is that I still think it's premature, but for sure that it's becoming a convincing argument. And I know that there's guys rolling their eyes when I say that and saying, "Just come on, Follis, come to the bull side." Structure is still bearish on high time frame. It's still a lower high, and I know there's a massive fundamental shift just happened. So we're going to talk through that as well. I'm probably, I don't want to say 50-50 because that implies like a kind of arbitrary coin flip. But for sure, I was relatively convinced that we would leg down again, let's say at the start of this month. I thought that it would happen in Q4. Now less convinced, of course. That's the nature of being a trader, is that you adapt your bias based on new information. But yeah, lots to talk about for sure. It's an interesting one. And I'm not one of those guys. I'm not precious about my reads. I don't have any ego in this game. If I'm wrong, I'll happily admit it. But, you know, I don't think we're quite at that point yet, especially with midterms approaching. What's up, Veslin? Good to see you. What's up, 9 Manny? This is on an 80 stream streak. Let's go, my boy. Let's do it. 80 streams. The big 100 is coming soon. What's up, Funny Warrior? What's up, Zalekis? I get an exclamation point today. Zalekis, for those who don't know, the stream lore has been in my stream since probably year one. just calling me the prettiest. I don't know where it comes from. I don't want to know. That's his thing. Power to him. Fietsenrijk, my man, with the 19-month. Let's go. So yeah, shout out to Lekis. He's an OG. He's an OG. I told you guys 57.8 would be the bottom. There you go. We made that dude stop streaming, follows the stream. Yeah, so I last weekend I spent genuinely like 3 or 4 hours sitting at my desk on a Saturday refreshing the Twitch. Now I wasn't obviously sitting on that page, but every few minutes I would go back to the Twitch homepage and refresh. I would sort by new streams and I would refresh, and anytime I saw that motherfucker go live, I would report him and I would send Twitch a huge email. I just copy pasted the same report every time. And to be fair to Twitch, at the start they were like, oh, we've reviewed your thing and we don't know and we haven't seen any evidence and blah blah blah. But by the end they were banning him in like less than 2 minutes. So it got, I think the return on his investment, the ROI for this guy setting up a new channel every time with my face on it was limited. But he did it like 10 times. He did it like over 10 times. But towards the end, yeah, as I said, like I was just reporting it and it was getting taken down within 2 or 3 minutes. So then he stopped for a while, and then on Sunday I saw him come back with a completely new streamer. So look, he's using someone else's identity now. Obviously not an ideal solution because he's still scamming, but thankfully it's not directly connected to me anymore. What's up, Purdue? Hype, new all-time high incoming. I thought we put in a new all-time high. Maybe I'm wrong. Obviously I saw the Trump news and the guy smirking in the background. That was quite funny. So, Ryoku, you got smoked shorting the bottom. With your short is currently minus 8,000%. I don't believe you. I wonder if we'll see a pullback to visit those 30 billion longs to push this massively impressive move up. Huh, interesting. When Sizz hits his 100 stream streak, where will BTC be? Higher. What's up, Victor? Good to see you, brah. I'm giving All Blacks vibes today. We got the Kraken merch on. Shout out the boys. They sent me not one but 2 care packages. There's actually, I've seen Trader Main wear a very, very snazzy Kraken Pro baseball cap, or maybe it's just a Kraken baseball cap. I gotta get me. I'm a merch hound. I gotta get me one of those. Hats are like if you're a streamer, baseball caps are the premium. They're the top of the tier list, right? T-shirts are a close second. Socks? What? Why are you sending me socks? You want me to? This isn't the right website. This is Twitch. This is Crypto Stream. You want to send me something to show off my feet? It's the wrong website. It's the wrong website for that. There are websites that do that, but this is not one of them. BTC pumping isn't so surprising. What's surprising is the shitcoins are pumping too, yeah. What's up, Mr. Bull Market? He's back. Ched's posted bulls are celebrating at 64K and then deleted it. Oh, no, you can't be deleting. Like, I have plenty of bear porn on my account over the last few months. I'll leave it there. You gotta leave it there for posterity. Hype vertical accumulation. Yeah, we'll look at it. Follis missed the bottom, but still looks fresher than ever. I certainly did miss the bottom if that was the bottom. Very much sidelined. I'd love to hear your opinions on the recent ETH price action. I saw it go straight up in a line. I saw it go straight up in a green dildo. I mean, what is there more to talk about? We'll talk about the market in general. So before I jump into the charts, and this is going to be the crux. I'm going to spend the next 5 or 6 minutes talking about this because this is quite important. The question, of course, is the bottom in, right? Now, before I kind of give this sweeping answer like yes it is or no it definitely isn't, let's look at what's actually happened here. Okay, so the funny thing is, like, even the bears and the bulls will agree that something has shifted, something has changed, right? The market has changed. I spoke about on Wednesday's stream, I said that if we got a push into the high 60Ks, or we're now at the high 70Ks, that you wanted to see whether the move was sticky, to see whether the move had legs. You wanted to see spot buying. You wanted to see ETF inflows. We've seen both of those. There's an argument as well that we've seen genuine capitulation at the bottom. We had Sailor selling. We had minor capitulation. There's a lot of institutional demand behind this move. The liquidity conditions have changed, and I think that's one of the most important points. We obviously saw people are talking about mini QE. It's not really mini QE. The U.S. Treasury, they're calling it Treasury QE, which is slightly wrong. The Treasury was already running a debt buyback program, right, where they basically go into the secondary market and buy debt back from investors, government bond from investors. But what they've done is they've effectively doubled the amount of capital going into that buyback program. So I think I saw, they had their 10 to 20 year Treasury buyback. The maximum has gone from 2 billion to 4 billion per operation, and the 20 to 30 year Treasuries have gone from 2 billion to 4 billion as well. So the Treasury is basically saying, like, we're willing to become a bigger buyer of long duration government debt. That's effectively what's happened, right? So that's the massive catalyst, right? It's not QE, even though people are saying that it is. The Fed isn't creating reserves to buy treasuries. It's debt management by the Treasury, and it's liquidity creation effectively. So that's kind of one of the reasons we're seeing this huge upside on risk assets, on gold, on silver, on BTC, on the crypto market. And we see that now because BTC, from the time that we streamed on Monday to now, it's Friday, BTC at its maximum was up 27%. I mean, that's nuts. For BTC to go plus 27% in a week, it's down a little bit now, down about 3 or 4% since the daily high. That's nuts. That is absolutely crazy. So let me go through the bearish view first, right? Because I think that's the more controversial one. And I shy away from it personally. I shy away from the strong bearish view, which is that this is still a lower high, and one more flush is inevitable, etc., etc. The argument is that obviously we're getting gold and silver ripping, we're getting BTC and ETH ripping, we're getting crypto ripping, but equities haven't really moved, and that sheds a little bit of doubt and uncertainty on the underlying mechanism of this liquidity influx, right? It's a question mark, it's a doubt, it's causing people to second guess what this move actually means. Free sub, let's go, JP. If you comment in the chat, I will give it to you. So yeah, if this was the beginning of like a huge risk on liquidity influx impulse, then you should see stocks ripping as well. We haven't seen that. So there's an argument that this move is a little bit more mechanical, a little bit more of a concentrated, targeted short squeeze to the upside, rather than the beginning of some like broad risk on regime. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of buying from the ETF side. We had like extreme fear at the lows, which typically is a good sign if you want to see that kind of sentiment-based market bottom. But is it the actual low? Who the fuck knows, right? The argument for the bottom, and sorry, just to say structurally as well, again, the structural high that we need to break is around 83K. So if we start closing daily and weekly candles above 83K, then the high time frame structure will shift as well. But until that time, it is technically a lower high. So that's the bear case, right? And as well, there's the midterms to consider. A lot of people are saying that maybe Trump enacted this new liquidity regime in order to bolster the economy, bolster the markets in advance of the midterms, especially because it looks like it was looking like the Republicans were going to lose the midterms. I'm actually not sure if that's changed now. I must check. I must check the various betting websites and see what way they're leaning now. But midterms are typically bearish for risk assets, and of course we have those coming in November. And a lot of people were saying that was going to be the cycle bottom, myself included. So we'll see if that changes. The bullish view, obviously, is that, we've had this massive impulse off the lows. BTC was minus 54% from the high. ETH was like minus 70% to the high. A massive one that people are talking about on on CT is BTC reclaiming this 200-day moving average, right? Which is huge because in previous bear markets, every time BTC has reclaimed the 200-day moving average with strength and momentum, that has signaled the cycle bottom, right? So that's a huge one. That's a huge one. Historically, it signals a cycle bottom, and there's an argument that this one will be no different. There's also the timing aspect, right? A lot of guys look at bear markets and say, okay, well, the average bear market going back over the last 3 or 4 has lasted 300 plus days. It's lasted, I think a lot of them have lasted very close to a year. So 350, 360, 370 days, that kind of thing. The current bear market's on I think it just crossed 300. It's like 310 or 315, something like that. So the timing makes sense. Maybe it's a little bit under the average, but the timing does make sense, right? Previous market cycles have had similar durations. And maybe that's a bit of a self-fulfilling thing as well, where people were looking at that and kind of waiting for the clock to tick closer and closer to the end. But I think that the strongest argument for the bottom being in is just capitulation. And I touched on it earlier, but we fucking saw capitulation from Sailor in one sense. We saw BTC minus 54%. We saw ETH minus 70%. We saw altcoins go like minus 80, minus 90%. Plenty of them were absolutely decimated, trading below their previous bear market lows in many cases. Like at a certain point, you have to start asking like where's the new sell pressure coming from? Where are the new sellers? Where are the new shorters? Where are the new bears? Because like as I said, when you're looking at a coin that's minus 95%. Like, what do you do with that? Do you short it? You're taking on a lot of tail risk if you try that. So I guess there's a value proposition there as well, where people were looking at these really, really downtrodden coins and thinking, okay, hey, maybe I'll chance my arm at some constructive buybacks here. It's like Purdue always says, never short a dull market, never short a boring market. And I think the market has been exceptionally boring for a lot of June, July, August, and now we're seeing this pop. The one last point that I would like to make, and this is something that has been very relevant to my read, and it's probably the strongest case for me, maybe shying away from the bullish argument. Shying away from the bottom is definitely an argument. Besides structure, because I think I'm also a structural trader. I've been talking about this realized price average for a long time. For those who don't know, the realized price is just the average last transaction price per BTC on chain. So it's the average price that every Bitcoin was last transacted at. In effect, it's the average buy price for all Bitcoin holders. And I think currently it's still around like 53, 54K. Now, why that matters is because previous cycles, we've never bottomed without trading below the realized price, without trading, and not just for a day or two, without trading for like, I think the minimum was like 180 days or 130 days or something. So this would be the first cycle that we've ever done it. Now, I have been waiting for that realized price to at least get tested. I thought for sure we would at least trade beneath it for some period. Maybe it wasn't going to be the full 180 days or 100 days or whatever, but certainly for at least a few months. Now, it's looking unlikely that that will happen. And that's kind of left me thinking, okay, well, maybe my strong belief in this was misguided, or maybe it's not something that I should have put too much credibility into. I mean, it's all speculation at the end of the day, especially when you only have 3 or really 4 previous cycles to go on. So that's an interesting one for me, because that was a data point that I had been paying quite close attention to. And now this is, if this is the bottom, it will be the first market bottom without even testing this realized price, not even to speak of trading beneath it. So that's kind of the bull case, the bear case, and the Follis case, which I think falls somewhere in between. So obviously the question is not whether the markets look good now. The question is not whether BTC looks bullish. Of course it does. It looks fucking phenomenal. Thankfully, I have not even attempted to be besides the prop short that we took on Wednesday, which looks hilarious in hindsight. I have not attempted to short this move, nor have I FOMO'd in trying to long it. I've just been sitting on the sidelines waiting for price action to develop. I don't typically do so well in this strongly trending price action unless I'm in for lower, so I'm happy to sit on my hands and wait for the price action to play out. But the question is, the big question is, has the market bottomed? Has the market capitulated enough to bottom? Obviously, there's a cautious camp that says this is more of a short squeeze. If it is a truly different liquidity regime, then we should see equities ripping. They're not ripping, and structure is still bearish, right? Structure is still bearish. This has more of a footprint of a short squeeze than anything else. Then, of course, there's the bullish camp that says max capitulation happened. The bottom was obvious in hindsight. We were accumulating all throughout June, July, and August, and this is the start of the bull market. I personally would love to see the structure flip on the high time frame. I would love to see some daily and weekly candles close above 83K. At that point, I would think that without a shadow of a doubt that the cycle bottom is in. Now you might think, oh, but Follis, you've missed like a huge portion of the move if you're waiting for fucking 83K. But I mean, if you're thinking that structure is flipped, the cycle bottom is in, then your targets to the upside are like 150K plus at a conservative level, right? Lots of guys looking for 200K, 250K. So I don't think that it's unreasonable to wait for that level of confirmation before allocating, before going heavily risk on, which I am obviously not at the moment. So that's kind of what I'm watching now. I think I spoke about that for like 10 minutes, right? I mean, if the bottom is in, this is going to look obvious in hindsight. I will say that. It has all trappings of a traditional cycle bottom. I think for sure more clarity will come after the midterms. I think the midterms, like from a time-based perspective, the midterms are the big question mark on my radar and on a lot of people's radars. If like the midterms come and go and we're still trading around 80K, I think it's over. It's so jover for bears. So jover for bears. So that's kind of it, guys. That's kind of it. That's my take on what BTC is doing now, and generally what I think crypto is likely to do over the coming months. When did the midterm start? November. I don't know the exact date. Let me catch up in the chat. Let me jump back into... Oh, no. We'll jump into the chart in a second. Let me catch up on the chat here because there's a lot of comments. Impulsive moves like this take years to digest, or take months to digest. Yeah, that's true. That's true. JP, if you comment... Oh, there we go. I still owe you a sub from 3 weeks ago. Well, you can gift it to someone if that's true. There you go. Give Wes the free sub. If you give it to Wes, that's totally fine with me. Your intern says a Chroma Care package arrived at your place. Well, you should have had that. We sent that like 4 weeks ago, man. Unless you're living on the wrong side of the world, then it might take a little bit longer. Lots of CT KOLs were waiting for 40K. I mean, yours truly was also waiting for 40K, or at least the 40s. I removed the hydration break request. I did. I just thought, now that the stream has like evolved a little bit, and we're 2 minutes from New York Open, I'm going to catch up in the chat. Now that the stream has evolved a little bit, we're a little bit more sophisticated with the Kraken Bro branding. I thought that having a button that makes the monkey drink the water was just a little bit on the unsophisticated side. Unsophisticated side. 1 year was complete on August 15th. No, 1 year would have been complete on October 6th, for BTC at least. What's up, Pacific Northwest? BTC is incredibly reflexive. Yep. How much is Jonesy up now? He's 100K, 110K in payouts, or 112K in payouts since May. So in 3 months. 4 billion of liquidations down to 62K. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And I'll tell a story about that as well, because I have thoughts on that. About like having a bias and sticking to it too rigidly when the market is showing you other things, and how that can absolutely destroy your portfolio, because it happened to me. It happened to me. It happened to me. What was that? Oh yeah, we'll do that. Shortest bear market took 364 days. The 57K bottom is 268 days. There you go, yeah. The cycle stats are being weaponized against us. There you go. So, Demambo, realized price is that Jonesy 2000 EMA. Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Gold is ripping. Yep. The altcoin bottom is not in. I would say the altcoin bottom is closer than the BTC bottom, actually. We got to jump into the charts here, boys. We yapped too much. We yapped too much. New York has just opened. We yapped too much, and we missed the open. Well, we didn't. We didn't miss the open. We got to talk about Jonesy as well, because his trade hit TP on Wednesday just after our stream. So we'll talk through that as well. I know he's super busy at the moment. I don't want to dox what's happening in his personal life, but anyone who's in Chroma knows he had a very big event in his personal life yesterday. Very happy event. So I think he's busy for the next few days. Understandably so. And a good time to get a big payout from Breakout. Give it to Wes? Okay, we'll do it. Can't believe Wes doesn't have... This is the only stream where the streamer pays money to stream. I'm already down... Those subs are €5 each. I'm already down €10. Hydration break isn't important. No, but I do it at my own pace these days. There you go, Wes. A lot of respect for teachers. He is a teacher, yeah, that is true. Why is Jonesy still a teacher? Because he loves it. Honestly, man, I have been... So Jonesy's been working on my team since like 2022, I think. So like 4 years now. And I remember telling him, man, like, I remember telling him in like early 2023, I was like, man, you gotta quit. You gotta go full time. Because I had just gone full time and I was like trying to pull him to the dark side. And he was like, nah, man, I love my job, you know? And that has been a common theme, is that every time Jonesy hits a huge milestone and, you know, hits a massive trade or gets paid out by Breakout Prop or whatever it is, I go, man, you need to you need to quit your job and come trade full time. And he always says, gotta respect him. Always says, I love my job too much. He's teaching maths to kids. I mean, he loves it. I think there are guys like that, man. I know my family has teachers, not me, but my mom's side of the family were all teachers, and they loved it, man. They you know, that was their calling in life. So power to him, man. He's a great trader and a great human. I agree. If I were him, I'd be tormented by the extra 160k could have made. That's what I said to him, you know. He told me that in DMs that he was a little bit tilted because he closed a little bit early. His target was 67 or 68k, and he closed at 67k, which would have been like an extra 15 bands. And I was like, man, you know what? If you would close the 67k, you would have still been tormented by the fact that price has gone up after that. And if you closed at 70k, you'd still be tormented by the fact that price is 76k now. You know, it's like you'll always regret. Let's go. Tells you a lot about him. It certainly does. Maybe it's good for his mind not to be all in on trading. Well, like, I don't think it's even like that, you know, the all in on trading thing. Financially, at least. I don't know what they pay teachers in the US, but teachers over here don't earn a lot. So there's in my opinion, there's something else there. Of course, I'm speculating, but I know him. I know him well enough by now to understand that there's something else driving him. Yeah, going full time would be so much pressure. It would, and maybe he doesn't want that. You know. What's up, Juzo? You got the Sonos headphones from VIP. Nice. I don't even have those. God damn it, Kraken. Where are my headphones? What's up, Daniel? What's up, Roberto? You wasn't lying. You tagged me in a post. Thoughts about XRP? We can look at XRP. It's called yield curve control. Interesting. There you go. I didn't know that, actually. You won't get a better nuanced take than how you just presented it. Well said. Thank you. I like that comment. I like that comment. You teach English as a second language to young adults, but trying to move into software development. There you go, man. I got to get a screenshot of the comment you just shared, because that I think we're gonna clip that, Film Ninja, and we can. Let's Dev. You just made the clip. You just made the clip. Let's Dev. There we go. I'll send that to you after the stream. You just made the clip. Let's Dev. Jonesy's got a really good thing going for him. He probably happier than most people. He's a great person. You know, yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, it's all speculation at the end of the day. If someone's doing something that makes them happy, gives them fulfillment, then. Wreckproof has a new post, does he? We're seeing 90k in a couple of days. Yeah, maybe. So there are two things I want to talk about. There's going to be a lot of yapping on this stream, as you can probably guess already. Three things, actually, because I want to talk about Jonesy's trade as well. Let's talk about Jonesy's trade first, because we're chatting to him now. We're chatting about him now. Let's just look at this. Okay, let's get this off my screen. Jonesy's trade, as far as I'm aware, he longed somewhere down here. We're reconstructing this. And he was targeting, it was like that. Yeah, so it's basically this. It was a 33-0 trade, something like that. And his risk on that trade, I believe, was about $2,000. So the funny thing about these high OR traders is that you see a lot of these guys on CT, and I wrote a little bit about this in our syllabus, how a lot of traders care more about OR than they do about making money. And that can be damaging to your long-term profitability. A lot of guys care about the high OR because it makes for the good screenshots. It makes for the good. Social media engagement. But that is kind of you're missing the woods for the trees in a lot of those cases because you are focusing on the wrong thing. OR is a great tool, very useful tool, but it is just a means to an end. It's very useful for calculating, the relationship between risk and reward. It's very useful for calculating, your performance over I would say a relatively short period of time. But OR evolves or changes. Your risk in year 1 is going to be very different from your risk in year 4, right? A lot of guys will start making more money later in their career as they size up while also making less OR. That is something that I see all the time. So OR has its limitations. Let me just get this screenshot here. Jonesy, the man himself. I'm just going to pull this screenshot onto the chart. Boom. So this was the finished trade, yeah, something around 33 OR. Absolute banger trade. But yeah, the funny thing about this is that he bet about 2K. So you can kind of see it here. It's a little bit blurry, but 68,000 was the eventual result here. The reason I'm going into this trade in detail is because we obviously had Jonesy on as a guest on Tuesday's live stream, which was the first episode of The Workshop. You guys know already, this is a new show where we do deep dives into traders, their technical analysis, their execution style, try and keep it as high level, high signal, high alpha as possible. And yeah, couldn't have been a better choice of guest for that first episode because Jonesy was on. Not only did he talk through this trade, but he talked through his trading methodology, his analytical methodology, his execution framework, and also how he passes prop firm accounts, like his strategy for that. Super, super useful. That whole thing is obviously on, it's on YouTube. Can you link that, please, Sis? And that should be under the new YouTube command as well. Just posted that whole, it was such a good interview. I actually didn't intend to post the whole thing on YouTube, but it was such a good interview that I posted the whole thing on YouTube yesterday. So go check that out. He marked the bottom. Yeah, he truly did. So yeah, shout out Jonesy. Let's give him he won't be on the stream. As I said, he's busy man today for a perfect reason. Now, you can look at this and say, oh my goodness, like he should have held. It went, it eventually ran for what, like almost 100 OR, but that's just the nature of the game, man. You're always gonna be tilted because unless you catch the 100% of the move, and that's just the nature of it. You just got to make your peace with what you make. You gotta stick to your plan because anything else, any kind of deviation, you're just increasing your variance and the likelihood that you'll eventually get stung. Can you open orders on Kraken perpetuals from TradingView? I know that feature was talked about very recently. I don't know if it's been introduced yet, but it's a feature that's either coming or has just come. I'd rather a 2-OR trade for 100k profit than a 33-OR trade for 33k. There you go. That's the point I'm making. So, but Jonesy is an interesting one because he not only does he risk quite a lot, but he also makes these huge returns. Like as I said, the risk on this trade was about 2-OR. Sorry, it was about 2k. And he made 33 ORs, 2 by 33, yeah, 68k. So it was thereabouts. Yeah, what a great trade. Please go check out that first episode of the workshop if you haven't already. The link is in the chat. I think we can probably share that in the X chat as well, please, is for anyone watching on X. The second point I want to make is about I guess these are kind of related points. The second point I want to make is about guys I see shorting this move, right? And I'll give you a little story time, right? A little story time here. Let me grab a sip of coffee. So you don't trade big BTC move. You would have shortened it and gotten, yeah, you would have become free. Financial freedom. You would have been free from the financial markets for life. So back in, let's find it. Back in, yeah, it was here. Back in at the very, very cycle bottom last cycle, I remember thinking that this range was, I remember thinking that it was going to play out. And I think that this was the range that I was looking at. And I remember I'd been trading ranges quite successfully for the whole 2022. I remember looking at this and thinking, yeah, this thing is going to come back down here and it's going to at least retest 20K. And I was so sure in that conviction that I remember getting heavily short here. Like at one point I was short, like it was 6 figures. I was short like 150K, which was a lot for my portfolio at the time. It was a pretty huge amount actually. I remember being like, I was up like, I don't know what it was, like $6,000, $7,000 on that trade. I was like, nice, man. Like I caught it. We're going to go down here. We're going to go back down, retest 20K. And I was so sure that that was going to be the case that I just held. I held the trade. And even when price started pumping against me, I just held it. I held it. And I got liquidated on this candle here, this big green candle. I got fully liquidated. My account got liquidated. I got taken out. This was back in early 2023. Now, if you zoom out and you look at that chart, I literally got liquidated shorting the fucking bottom of the move. I shorted the fucking very bottom of the move, but I was too stubborn and too rigid in my bias, in my read on the market, even when the market was giving me new information to say that I was wrong, right? So I learned a fucking expensive lesson that day, which is that when the market is telling you that you're wrong, you need to fucking adapt, right? Going back to this BTC price action, how many long liquidations? Can someone find that data? How many long liquidations we've had over the last few days? Is it like $200 billion or something like that on the short side? And I feel like, 2023 Follis would have been right there. He would have been shorting this move. He would have been tilted that he missed the long. He would have been revenge trading, right? Do you know how much money I lost on this move? I lost $0. Do you know how much money I made on this move? $0. Well, I don't know how much I made on my spot. I made a little bit on spot actually, but perps I was completely flat. That to me is a big trader evolution. It's a big trader evolution to go from the fucking dickhead who wanted to be the smartest guy in the room, shorting every rip, shorting the move, to being the guy that once I see the market just doing its thing, I'm fucking happy to sit out and just wait for things to play out. Because I've seen guys, there's a guy in the Discord, God bless him, he was just shorting every rip, man. He was shorting here, and then he's like DMing me saying, man, I'm so frustrated, like I can't get a read on the market. I'm like, brother, what are you doing? Just stop shorting. Just stop shorting this massive impulsive breakout. There are easier trades to take, right? I think there's a certain amount of, you need to leave your ego at the door when it comes to this stuff. Like, you guys have seen me since the start of the stream. I'm pretty jovial. I'm laughing. I have missed this whole fucking move, but that's just the nature of the game, right? You're not going to be correctly positioned for these rips. And to be honest, with this, if you're not positioned within the first impulse, for me, it's impossible to jump on this train. So that brings me to my next point. So that's the TLDR of that first point is don't try and be that guy. Don't try and be the smartest guy in the room, the guy who fades the entire market, the guy who stands in front of the moving train. the guy who catches the Pico top move. There are easier trades to take. You're gonna not only you're gonna fucking hemorrhage your mental health, you're gonna hemorrhage your portfolio as well. There are easier trades to take. Don't try and be like 2023 Follis, shorting the rip, trying to revenge trade, because revenge trading, people think that revenge trading only happens on the same side as the move you missed, but a lot of guys revenge trade shorts when they miss the long. They missed the long from lower, so they revenge trade short at the higher. And that's the key thing to remember. Don't be like 2023 Follis who got liquidated because the market gave him new information and he failed to adapt. If you've been bearish on BTC, look at this price action and say, is that the correct read? Is that the correct read to have on August the 21st when BTC is up over 20%? So that's the first point I'll make. The second point I'll make is regarding being sidelined, looking at this move from the sidelines and feeling that impulse, because a lot of guys in the server have been talking about FOMO. Been talking about FOMO, the fear of missing out, this feeling that fuck, the market is moving, I need to be involved, I need to be part of this or else I'm going to miss out on generational wealth, right? FOMO it's an emotion, right? Fear of missing out. The hint is in the word, fear, right? And any trades that you take based on emotion are by their very nature bad. Okay, now you can say, oh, actually, Follis, that's wrong because I FOMO'd in here and I made $10,000. No. You made money on a bad trade. You made money on an emotional decision, which is poor execution. It doesn't matter what the outcome of that execution is. It was poor execution, right? Now, if you said, oh, well, actually, Follis, I was waiting for this imbalance to fill and I got long here with my invalidation down here. Oh, yeah, no, for sure, man, because that's a technical reason for entering the trade. You entered not because you were feeling FOMO, not because you were feeling this urgency to get into a trade, but because you had a technical reason to get in and ride the move higher. Absolutely, that's a valid trade. But saying, yeah, man, fuck, I just felt so much FOMO, I just had to get in, so I longed the top and then I got liquidated when price pulled back 4%, right? That's not a fucking trade, right? That's not a trade. It's not a trade thesis. Remove the outcome from your execution. Even the guys, if you said, man, I felt so much FOMO that I bought here and I rode the move up and I'm the best trader ever. No, man, you got lucky. You executed using your emotions. You executed without reference to your technical analysis abilities. Without reference to your execution framework. And unfortunately, you got lucky, but that might reinforce a bad habit, right? You try that 100 times. You try that once, you might make money. You try that 10 times, yeah, probably could still make money. You try that over a large enough sample, 100, 500, 1,000 trades, and eventually variance will kick in and you'll get your ass kicked, right? Eventually, the long-term expectancy of that type of trading will reveal itself to be negative. Right, and that's the way you need to look at this. If you want to get involved on this move, absolutely look for technical reasons to do so. Are we pulling back? Are we coming back to a retracement level that I want to long? Are we retesting this POI? Are we retesting this order block? Are we filling this inefficiency and then potentially going to continue higher? Absolutely. Those are great trades. I love those. But saying I saw a lot of P&L cards on my timeline and therefore I feel the need, I feel the urgency to get into a long. That's not a fucking trade. That's not a trade, that's emotion. And that is the worst type of execution. And even if you make money doing that, all you've done is reinforce bad habits that will eventually have a negative impact on your trading. After a large enough sample of trades, it will almost inevitably have a negative impact on your trading. Trading is probabilistic, right? Good decisions will sometimes lead to bad outcomes. Bad decisions will sometimes lead to good outcomes. As our buddy Mark Douglas says, every trade has an uncertain outcome, right? Your job is not to predict every market move with 100% accuracy. Your job is to give your trading system the room it needs to reveal its profitable edge over time. And you're not going to do that by FOMOing into trades. You're not going to do that by top blasting because you see guys on the timeline sharing P&L cards. Always make sure you have a technical reason to back up your trade, not an emotional one. Now, I want you all to be aware of that as price rips here. If you see a technical reason to get into a trade, absolutely. But if you say, oh, fuck, I feel the FOMO, that's not a reason to get into a trade. Does that make sense? $3.1 billion liquidated from the crypto market. Is that it? Take it easy, 9Manny. On X, they shadow banned you. How did they shadow ban you? Is that not the first time I've seen you get shadow banned? Okay. Take it easy, Dom. Just post the YouTube link, man. Sorry, I'm sharing the YouTube link. Couldn't do it. I think that's it, right? Yeah, there you go. If you're watching on X, oh, I can't post on Kraken Pro. Don't let me post that YouTube link, unfortunately. I can't, yeah. Well, it's in my X stream. Goat stuff indeed. Why am I talking about you? That ego stands for big, stands on big unrealized loss. Not easy for everyone to let go. At least save to be in the game. Exactly. You close a trade with a past 25k challenge right before this move just got accepted. Exactly. How do you trade the all-time high of hype? Yeah, interesting question. I guess fib extension levels are your guiding grace there. It's a tough one, man. I guess we're we're really not going to my low 40s level. We didn't even get my high level, which was 50. Interesting. I mean, I have my own thoughts on this. I do eventually think that hype trades above 100. But yeah, probably no trade for me here. Maybe you wait for the breakout. Something like this. I have to reassess a lot of my reads. Hype is, of course, one of them. So I really thought that we would get lower. Is hype just a market long here? I mean, it might be. It might be. Wait for, if we get price action developing around range high here, then you can call this a successful breakout. One of the things I want to talk about, actually, just to go back to the BTC price action. So if you're sideline here and you're like, how the fuck do I get involved here? Just be patient, right? These moves don't go up in a straight line forever. Eventually there will be a pullback, right? Eventually there will be a retrace, and that's when the guys, the top blasters, are gonna panic, you know, and everyone's gonna, the guys who bought the absolute pico schmico top of the move are gonna capitulate. Just wait. You know, eventually these moves will give pullbacks. They will start to range. They'll give you something like this that you can kind of trade on. They'll give you pullbacks like this. Even if the move continues, you know, prices, the markets always move in impulses and pullback. Prices don't go up in a straight line, right? You have your impulse, correction, impulse, expansion, consolidation, trend, range, whatever you want to call it. Don't be the guy who ends up buying here, right? Draw your PD array, which is something that I've been looking at recently. PD array, right? I mean, looking at this, you want to wait for low 70s. If this is the intermittent high, then probably some good longs to take around the low 70s. Not saying we get it, but that's what being a patient trader is. You don't necessarily top blast. You don't wait for, you actually wait for price to come into a level where you want to do business. Important to say, looking for triggers just to get into a trade is a bad trade too. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, person must wait for the trade to come to him. Yeah, that's exactly the point I just made. You're going all in long here. There you go. That's it. You're holding a long since 67k. Would you look to a new all-time high? Well, I kind of explained that at the start of the stream, bro. New all-time high for a high. Yeah, we can look at that. We can look at that. Thoughts on curve. Intraday scalps are starting to work well now. Yeah. So you're saying a short here on BTC makes sense. I'm saying nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. You blew your breakout evaluation from shorting. You were wrong by about 18%. Damn, bro. Cesar, are you able to post the YouTube link in the X chat? I can't, unfortunately. Look at Ina. I used to own a bag of Ina. I think it's literally off my watch list now. Yeah, crazy. Very similar to BTC. Of course, the high time frame a little bit worse. I mean, it still looks a little bit cooked. I remember longing Ina, man, at fucking some ungodly high level. I think I remember longing Ina around 70 cent or something like that. Crazy that so many of these a lot of altcoins are going to look like this now. But on altcoins, the bear case is even more obvious. Like, a lot of these coins are just going to hit this overhead resistance. I've said many times before, a lot of altcoins are doing the euthanasia roller coaster thing. I don't necessarily think that any of them. You look at coins like Hype, you look at coins like LIT, the shiny new things that have actual use cases behind them. Those are the coins you should be focusing on. I find it hard to believe that coins like Chainlink and Polkadot and Ina and I mean 99% of alts will probably never go back to their 2021 or even their 2024 highs. What about Tau? Tau. I think Tau is trading at like 220 right now, right? Yeah. I mean, it's still a very similar review. That 200 level held for like the 12th time. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these coins don't look bad, but on a high time frame, a little bit cooked still. You just posted it here. Where do you want me to post? Oh, sorry. I was just saying, are you able to post in the X chat? Did I call you? I thought I meant I tried to call Sis. I was just posting on. I for some reason the Kraken Pro X won't let me post a YouTube link in the chat. It's all good. I think they might actually have links disabled because neither me nor Sis were able to post. Scalps won't work right now. Too choppy. Well, yeah. I think with a move like this. I can't believe we're already come to the end of the stream, man. There's an element of just waiting for the dust to settle. Guys who look at this and think there'll never be another move like this, I've missed generational wealth. It's not how these things work. There will be more moves, there will be more volatility, there will be more volume. If this is the start of, if the bottom is in, then this is the very start. You've missed nothing. This is the very start and the best is yet to come. But for sure, I would love to see, this is the last point I'll make here, right? Even if this just continues up in a straight line, you know, something like this, and then boom, boom, boom. Something like that would be ideal, right? This kind of PO3 continuation, IRDRI type setup to the upside, right? Or deeper retraces. Maybe you look for pullbacks more to the low 70k area, something like this, right? I could absolutely see that. It's very hard to look at the price action above 75k and to advise you all that that's a good place you should be longing. I don't think, at least for my trading style, that's never a place that I would be looking for longs. Flip side of that is you don't want to be the dickhead shorting momentum, and I mentioned that at the start of the stream. You don't want to be that guy either. Genuinely, and the last point I'll make here, sitting on your hands is such a useful and profitable skill to have. Not just when the market is doing nothing, but also when the market is ripping, right? If you have levels that you want to do business at, mark them on your chart, set your alerts, and don't succumb to FOMO. Don't see the guys who are, unless you're scalping, of course, but don't succumb to the emotional response you feel from seeing P&L cards and think that you need to get into longs here, right? There will be very, very good trades to take, but make sure that those trades have a technical reason, and make sure that you wait for the price to come to you rather than market entering or FOMO entering at the top of the move. All right, guys, we're gonna call it there. Wow, I can't believe we flew through that 1 hour. Yeah, no worries, Film Ninja. I think yeah, it's not trying. They've banned YouTube links, and that's fine. Even if it was the bottom, we should head back down for the 4 billion of liquidations, maybe. 62k seems seems unlikely to me that if that was the bottom that we would go back down to 62k, to be honest. No worries, Balak. 100% agree. There you go, boys. Yeah, I feel like I have a few good clips from that one, so hopefully we'll get those worked on and get them posted over the weekend. We're going to call it there, guys. Thank you very much for joining. And yeah, it's incredibly interesting time to be in crypto right now. If you have been waiting for something to ignite people's interest in crypto, to ignite people's passion when it comes to crypto, especially after a 12-month period where we had precious metals ripping and crypto did nothing. We had equities ripping and crypto did nothing. Now finally we're seeing evidence that there is a catch-up trade to take. Which is just super exciting time for the markets, right? So keep your eyes peeled, keep your head on your shoulders, don't succumb to FOMO, don't give in to emotion. If this actually is the bottom, there will be so much opportunity to come. Don't blow all your dry powder by FOMO entering into a bad trade and leaving yourself with nothing to play with once the market gets even more exciting than it already is. Gonna call it there, guys. Thanks for joining. Back for the next stream on Monday on the for the Open. We have obviously 3 the Open streams next week, and then we also have the breakdown next Thursday with Tomas Perfumo, and that's gonna be a fun one because we have a lot to talk about. He was very vocal about calling the bottom on, I think, our first episode of that, and as we come on to episode 3, no doubt he will have more to update us on the macro and liquidity side. We're gonna call it there, guys. Enjoy your weekends. Try and stay safe. Don't get liquidated. FOMO entering this move. We will, or even worse, shorting it. We will see you on Monday for the next episode of the Open. Until then, stay safe. Try not to get liquidated. We'll see you next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Love you. Bye-bye.